Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name's Tim and this is Tim the Trailman, and we are continuing on this journey of Atlanta, Georgia to Fairbanks, Alaska on the move. Today we're going to be covering days 3 and 4. We've got border crossings, more scenic views, and a ton of adventure. And if you're not caught up on the journey, please head down to the description. That's where the days 1 and 2 will be linked. So without further ado, let's jump into the journey. All right, so the day's journey is going to take about 10 hours of drive time. We're going to be going from Chamberlain, North Dakota to North Battleford, Saskatchewan. That's difficult to say. And planning on 10 hours. It'll probably take about 11 to 12 hours with sightseeing. And we're chasing sunrises and sunsets along this whole journey as we're traveling north. We didn't get any video coming out of Chamberlain, so this is actually us kind of approaching Minot, North Dakota. If I'm saying that wrong, let me know in the comments, but I believe it's why not. Minot is the slogan up there, and we're going to be quickly crossing the border here shortly after Minot. And the reason for the sunsets and sunrises is because Mary and I are going to continue to work East Coast time once we get to Fairbanks. So the idea is, as we continue to travel through time zones, we are going to stay waking up on East Coast time just like we would normally, maybe 7 a.m., 8 a.m. East Coast time. So as we travel, we're going to continue to wake up, but it's going to be more like 6 a.m., 5 a.m., 4 a.m., and things like that, which gets us out on the roads early and then gets us into town earlier. The other benefit is if something does go wrong along the journey throughout the day, we've kind of cheated the time frame in the morning time, and we actually have more evening time to be able to get to a town, find fuel, find a hotel or anything like that. Quickly approached the border here. They don't approve of videotaping really as you go through it, so let me tell you how it goes from here. We pull up and we give them the registration to the truck, the trailer, tell them what we're doing. We're moving there for work. We're going to be passing through Canada for just 3 to 4 days and be going back into Alaska. We tell them that we've got ammo, but no firearms. We tell them we don't have no plants, no produce, nothing like that. That's going to be against the rules or laws. I've only crossed the border 2 other times, and the first time was a disaster. That's a story for another time. In this case, we were there for like less than 5 minutes. I told him all the answers. He believed me. They didn't search the truck. They didn't search the trailer, and we were off and into Canada. It was literally the easiest border crossing I've ever had. We did go through in Portal, North Dakota. It's just the place that Google Maps has me go through, and that's the place I did it 2 other times. The border, it's not popular, it's not crowded. The other benefit of it is that it's open 24 hours a day. So if you're road tripping or trying to plan something, I don't necessarily want to be going through the border or scheduling my time around the border opening. I just want to be able to show up and know that they're going to be open. So in Portal, North Dakota, 24 hours a day. All right, so you pull into the province of Saskatchewan. This is going to be right above North Dakota. And with the Chevrolet, as you can see, this truck doesn't have the kilometers below the miles per hour. So within the settings, you're able to change it from miles per hour to kilometers. And that was weird the whole time driving. Now it looks like I'm speeding, but for easy math, about every 100 miles per hour, for every 100 kilometers an hour, you're doing 60 miles an hour. That's rough math.
This is Saskatchewan.
The cool thing, if you've never really thought about it, I never really thought about it, but going through here in Canada, it's really just an extension of the Great Plains or the flyover states of the US. From here to, I mean, almost Edmonton, really, it's just wide open spaces. There are just fields, there's very few towns, very few cars, a lot of semis and truck drivers take this route, but it literally, there's not much to see throughout it. The roads overall were good, but here, look at the truck bouncing and shaking. We nicknamed this the cow patch. It just looks like black patches on a cow, but this road was rough just from the ups and downs. We're not into like a frost heave section. We're still not that far north, but this was second worst, I would say. There's worse on the trip coming. So hit that subscribe button so you can see future videos. But very surprised. You can see the camera is shaking all over the place as Mary is holding it, and it is making me a little nervous because I've got a 2,000-pound toolbox in the trailer held on by 3 straps, and I don't really want to make it any surprise appearances going down this road, but the trailer and everything held together. No drama there, it just makes me nervous. And then right back into some smooth blacktop. The sky was clear, the weather was good. The weather for this trip was amazing. Overall, nothing. I mean, we didn't even run into rain until we ran into snow future down the road, but overall, could not have asked for better weather throughout the entire journey. Again, this is about middle of October that we're traveling, and so temperatures were nice, and the temperature was cooling, but as a whole, great. Here along this road is just a pull-off with gas stations. You're in towns, but they're not big cities like Edmonton will be that we travel around. But the first time I needed gas, it is more expensive in Canada. So that is $1.71 for an Imperial liter. I didn't worry about the math. I just know that I'm about to get screwed over. Total price, that was $200 in Canadian dollars. There again, I knew that my credit card was going to do the math for me. I believe it's probably $1.60 for every dollar US wise. So that's possibly 150 bucks. I don't know. But it's very deceiving on the price you're going to pay. Overall, the gas is way more expensive in Canada, hands down.
This is Saskatoon, or somewhere near Saskatoon.
This town, it's a thriving town. It's got all the big things, dealerships, stores, Walmarts, whatever, hotels, and things like that. We wanted to make it a little bit further than Saskatoon the way that we mapped it out. And so we're going to blitz through there and get over to North Battleford to save a little time on the back end. Here is the first time I've seen the check engine light come on the truck, and I had a suspicion that it's going to be because of that fuel tank. This is the Scan Gauge 3. It's not sponsored, it's just a product that I run in the truck. I also use it in the 4Runner, but that fuel level sensor is the problem, and it's detecting that there's too much fuel in the truck, but normally it just throws the fuel light as we've seen before, but this time it turned on the check engine light. So within the within the scan gauge, I'm able to clear that fault. No harm, no foul. It will show up again later on. It's good to know what it is traveling so far from home. Heading out of Saskatoon, more open fields, maybe some rolling hills, but this is really just a continuation of farmland, and it's beautiful. I love driving these open roads with very little traffic. All right, so another 620 miles down. We got 8.5 miles a gallon, not great. 72 gallons of fuel use, that is the US measurements. And then that's the odometer reading for the end of the day. And then as of this point in the trip, I am filling up at the end of the day so we can hit the ground running in the morning. And the fun fact is here in North Battleford, there's a restaurant called Montana's that we had dinner at, but that was the end of the day. Real quick, before we head into the hotel for the end of the evening, I wanted to take a chance and show you what I did 3 or 4 times throughout the week of driving. I just wanted to make sure everything was staying put. I would open up the trailer when we would get to a spot. Don't mind my beanie jacket with shorts. I was dedicated to shorts throughout this journey, even though it's getting cold, and we'll see that in future videos as well. I like to get into the trailer, climb up over all my stuff, and I'm checking on that toolbox. That toolbox is held in place with those 3 straps. It's on an extra piece of 3/4 plywood. The plywood is not screwed to the trailer, but there are boards that are chalked to the plywood, and then the plywood is being held down by the straps with the toolbox on it. So that toolbox by itself is roughly 2,000 to 2,500 pounds, and I want to make sure it's not going anywhere or shifting. And so even though the trailer doesn't look like it's really full, the nose of it is loaded with boxes, mattresses, and couches, and then the rest of it is just kind of thrown in there. To the best of my estimate, the trailer is loaded to capacity about 10,000 pounds, and it is nose bias for tongue weight. The toolbox is not moving. I check it again in the future. I checked it before we got here, so don't worry, this isn't the first time I did it. It's just the first time that I recorded this, but I couldn't imagine driving for 7 days and never checking my load in the trailer. So just wanted to show you guys, I think it's wise when traveling to do this. All right, so here we are leaving the Holiday Inn Express in North Battleford the next morning, and it is 25 degrees outside. So it has quickly went from Atlanta weather to northern weather, and we've got about 1,000 kilometers to go. And for quick math, it is pretty simple to say 1,000 kilometers is 600 miles. So here we are. It is probably 5 a.m. or so, pitch black just outside of town, North Battleford, heading for Edmonton. And so we're gonna be chasing that sunrise, and there it is, kind of poking its head above the horizon there, just kind of coming up in our mirror. And that means we're heading the right direction, but it is a beautiful sunrise, partly cloudy, and as the day progresses, we're gonna see it even more, and then the goal is to be where we need to be by sundown. So let's see if that's going to happen today or not. Cross from Saskatchewan province into Alberta.
This is in Alberta, about 2 hours outside of Edmonton, heading towards it.
And we're continuing into that flyover state, the rolling hills. And like I've said before, I really don't mind this open road. It gives you time to just take in the scenery, not a lot of turns, not a lot of traffic. Very different than where I come from in Atlanta. So the ability just to keep the steering wheel straight, drive on down the highway, and enjoy the time, because I'm not in a rush to get to Alaska. The only thing I'm trying to do is beat the winter time. But as a whole, taking in these views and colors, it is just simply breathtaking, and not having to worry about traffic lights, traffic jams, or anything. Just open roads.
They have a big Merry Monday. Double 53 footer.
Okay, so that clip right there may not be as exciting for you as it is for me, but I come from a long line of family and truck driving, and so seeing these double 53-foot trucks was just amazing to me. It's not spectacular, it's not a marvel of technology, it's just the idea that in Canada, I don't know where they can and can't, but they'll run triple trailer, which is also allowed in the US in some areas, but these double 53-footers are not allowed in most of the US, if at all. Let me know in the comments. So we took a lot of time trying to film these trailers going past us so I could send it to family and just saying, hey, check this out. The idea of a 53-footer, that makes that truck over 115 feet long, which is super cool because they don't have to turn or anything very often in this part of Canada. So I don't know if you appreciate that as much as me, but that's the significance of that part of the trip. Quick pullover into a rest area. Couldn't pass up a photo op. And these are literally just on the side of the road. You pull in, rest area, and then you keep going.
Approaching Edmonton, Alberta. Bypassing Edmonton. First, Ferrari sighting, just outside of Edmonton.
Traveling around Edmonton. Not a really good overpass. Trying to get the clip and video of it, but the good news is you don't have to go into Edmonton. You can literally just take this bypass and head around it. And so just trying to get some video. It's not really working very well. Around Edmonton we go.
This is 16 west, headed towards 43 north. We still got some color on the trees.
Okay, and before I left Atlanta, I always was joking with the folks that I'm gonna catch fall somewhere in Iowa, but I wanted to document here. This is north of Edmonton, middle of October, and this is really where the trees are changing colors. This is the fall for me. I didn't get a fall this year. I left this basically a summer temperature in Atlanta, and when I get to Fairbanks, you're gonna see there's actually snow on the ground already. So the trees changing colors for my year of 2024, they lasted about 2 hours. That's the fall that I get on this trip, and so just kind of wanted to show you guys along the journey of what it looks like for fall in Canada.
This is SEC Highway 672. Going from Alberta to British Columbia, heading west.
Okay, so we're north of Graham Prairie now on the map and heading for Dawson Creek. So let me know in the comments before we get to that part of the video, what's the significance of Dawson Creek on this journey? It looks like some cotton fields or something like that, but we weren't sure where we were at. We didn't have internet signal, but we did have the maps, and basically just trying to figure out if this road was going to get us to where we needed to be. But it is pretty flat still, just taking in the farmland and trusting that Google Map is going to get us there, because at this point we are between towns of Grand Prairie and Dawson Creek, like I said. So I'm along for the ride. I got a ton of fuel. I'm not really worried about it. It's just not sure where Google Maps is taking us.
Welcome, British Columbia. We are now in British Columbia. It's very overcast.
Okay, so right here, we've made it to the beginning of the Alaska Highway. This is where all my excitement, this is the part that I've been looking forward to for 4 days now. I was actually trying to race the sundown, and I was actually trying to race the forecast. So it's a full overcast, but we have made it. We're gonna spend the night here in Dawson Creek, an A&W in Dawson Creek, and checking the odometer mileage there. We are really putting in the time and distances, wrapping up 615 miles and just over 10 and a half hours, actually under 10 and a half hours, and 10 miles a gallon. So using 61 gallons of fuel today. Days 3 and days 4 are in the books. We've gone through border crossings now. We've gone through big cities. We are into our 3rd province. We get to wake up in the morning and start the Alaskan Highway. A huge shout out to my patrons. Thank you so much for your support. It means a lot to me in this channel. If you want to be a patron too, please head on over to patreon.com/Tim the Trailman. Hit that like button, that subscribe button. And as always, thanks for watching.